So what the hips should be doing coming into impact relative to their bends and tilts is a question we get a lot of times on the lesson tee. And it's often phrased like, should I be trying to keep my hips level coming into the ball, or should I be trying to raise my left hip if you're a right-handed golfer coming into the ball? Well, the answer is really neither. But the hips don't remain level coming into the strike. And we've looked at our databases. We haven't found any pros, and we haven't really found any single digit, low double digit, any single digit golfers who keep their hips level either. So it's not really a conscious effort of trying to raise the left hip or that lead hip coming into the ball or lower the right hip. It's more of a result of a lot of things happening that produce the tilt, or in this case, the side bend, same number, of the pelvis as it comes into the ball. And this happens to be one of our pro golfers, demonstrating what we see pretty common movement of the pelvis as it approaches impact and just beyond impact. And we're going to start the video here, or our animation here, where the hips are, again, with very good ball strikers, the hips are level at about this point in the golf swing, where the hands are kind of opposite the right hip or level with the belt. Some are a little bit lower. Very few are higher than this, but it's kind of right in this hands or hip high is when the hips actually are level. And as we remember from some of our knee videos, that the knees are constantly changing flex. So at this part in the downswing, the right knee is gaining flex and the left knee is on its way to straightening. So there's a point there where they actually have the same flex, and that's also coincides with very closely with this kind of level hips, which makes sense, right? And the knees are kind of same flex, the hips are pretty level, the upper body's still pretty much vertical, just starting to get some of the side bend with the upper body. So all those things are kind of happening at this moment in time, and it's not a position, it's just, we're just snapshotting one part of the golf swing when the hips actually are level. Now, as we roll him through towards impact, we can see the left leg starting to straighten, the left side of the body, rib cage, everything is starting to lengthen as the right side starts to kind of shrink. And that's obviously from the tilt and the rotation that's happening. And the golfer is also applying a good bit of force into the ground with that left leg. And unless you're Chuck Norris, the ground is always going to win that battle. So it's causing him to kind of straighten that left leg. It's pushing into the ground. The ground's kind of resisting that push, obviously. And it's lengthening the left side. We can see the left leg straightening here. The right knee is continuing to flex. All of those things, the upper body's adding some right side bend. All of those things are producing uneven hips. And it's exactly what we want to happen. Now, this golfer isn't trying to pop his hip up. In fact, we see higher handicap golfers do that very early in the downswing as a result of a lot of late slide. So it's getting the left shoulder and the left hip too high too early because of slide, because the club's out of position. That produces a really early left hip coming up. But the fix for that is not to just level out the hips, it's to clean up all of those things that are causing that. So again, it's the idea certainly isn't to keep the hips level, nor is it to try to raise the left hip. Those things are happening, or the left hip coming up is happening because of a lot of other good things that happen in the golf swing. And then we can scroll them through impact, and kind of the range we see with the pros is high single digits to low double digits. So that 8-9 degrees compared to this 12-13 degree range is kind of a 4 to 5 degree window that we see pretty much every good player fall into. And a lot of that has to do with angle of attack and those sorts of things, how open they get. But it's a myth to say that golfers keep their hips level coming in impact. Certainly not good golfers. And it's also would be misleading to say that they're trying to raise that left hip. It's a result of the other things that they're doing in the golf swing. And it's one of those things that really help with the dynamic movement of the swing. Trying to retard that or trying to stop that is typically not going to be good for your club head speed or your direction.